Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. How y'all doing? How's everything going on y'all end? If you will go and complete the attendance quiz, it'll take you just a couple of minutes. Um, just go on there and the time is now 9:09. Let's meet back together at 9:15. Hey Angel. Hey you Angel. All right, let's meet back together at 9:15. So go do the attendance quiz and we'll come back together. All right, everybody. Don't leave Angel out here by herself. Angel has his camera on. Y'all turn y'all cameras on. Sleepy or not, I know we're sleepy today. So today I won't have y'all uh looking your best today because I know of the jury conditions. So please turn your camera. Hey Louise, how are you? Hey Kate. Kate, did you get the application? Okay. All right, so good. And did it tell you in the application, did it give you a membership price? Did it say anything about a membership fee?
It said that there was a fee, but I don't think it said what it was.
Okay, I will post that later. And it will be due. I think I'll to the end. I think I'll carry it out to like the end of March or something. So okay, all right. I'm glad you got it. I'll go back and look and make sure everything was complete. But I think I saw that yours was. I still have a few people who hadn't completed this, but I wanted to check. Okay, so on yesterday, we had watched a video about creating a budget, and it was a very uh, nice video. It gave us some great information, and I really liked the video, but I wanted to show you another video because the one from yesterday I think may be a little bit more in depth, and because we have not really tapped into Excel yet, I didn't want it to be too extreme. But we were learning how to create a budget. And how many of you that's on the call today have a budget? How many of you have a budget? Anybody have a budget? I don't either. Some people, but I would like to create a budget. And I have dabbled and dabbled in a budget. And the reason that I wanted to introduce a budget to you, because you need to start now, um, having your own budget. That way you'll be able to see what what comes in, what goes out, how much money you're spending on stuff that you possibly don't need or that you can wait on. And it's just a way of saving for you. And show of hands, how many of us have a job? How many of us, raise your hand if you have a job? Okay. Okay, what do you do? What do you do?
I work at Chick-fil-A.
I didn't know that the Chick-fil-A by the old Walmart in Lexington. I did not know that. How long you been there?
8 months, maybe.
Lord, I did not know. Okay, okay. I'm gonna go there and see you in action. Okay. So good, good, nice place to work. Who else has a job? Anika, I know you have a job. Anika, where you work at now?
I was at Zaxby's, but I'm at Burger King now.
Yeah, Burger King. You've been there how long? You've been there
Not
what,
long.
not long. Okay. All right. Is there anybody else that has a job? And it doesn't have to be, it could be a family business, but you're still working and you're still getting paid. Chance Suda, what do you work at?
Um,
Oh, okay. Now, which McDonald's do you
not
work at?
sure.
Oh, you work at Kite Road. I used to work at the one on Winston Road. I worked at the one on Winston Road when I was younger. So yeah, so great. So what I want y'all guys to do, we're gonna look at this next video. And I want us to begin getting a budget together because I want you for your project to create a budget. And some of us, like I said, we may have a job, we may not have a job, we may just get a weekly allowance, or we do odd jobs or whatever. So I want you guys to think about, probably with you, you wouldn't have like mortgage or rent because somebody is providing that for you. Some of you may have, I don't think any of you have a car payment. You may have car insurance. Probably your expenses would be clothes, games, things of that nature. So I want us to come up with some categories, and I want us to create a budget. And we're going to create like a. You have a car payment, okay, Anika? That's all right. Now my first car, my parents bought for me. Then I think when I went into my senior year, I traded that car, and I think I began. Bless you, Kate. I think I began paying a car payment, and my parents probably still here, but I began in my senior year um, making a car payment because I think when I turned 16, the first car I had was paid for. So, like some of us, if you have a car payment, car insurance, your clothes, your games, eating out, or whatever hobbies that you have. So we're going to create a budget. But what I want y'all to do right now, hey Amir, UZL, Brian, I just speak to y'all, Derek. I want to show you this video clip, and I think this one is a series of like 5 videos. So we'll look at it and see if we need to look at all 5. I want us to look at that, and then your assignment today will be coming up with, things. Well, we're gonna try to do the category, so we need to do that. Uh, and I want you to start thinking about writing down how much you purchase, how much money goes out. Okay, so we're gonna look at this video. So if you would bear with me, also for those of you who weren't in class yesterday. There is a talent hunt that this organization is doing. They're going to put it on, I think, March 6th. And you have it through March 4th to audition. You can audition as many times, I think. It's going to be virtual. The organization for the last 2 years, the same student at our school, because they opened it up to all Davidson County high school students. But for the last 2 years, there's a particular student in our school. I'm not going to mention his name at the time, but I may have him to come and speak and let y'all know about it. He has won for the last 2 times. Last year, he won because there was nobody else to compete against him. So if you like to dance, sing, rap, um, poetry, artwork, I would strongly encourage you to audition. So I'm gonna put that application and the flyer up in modules. I was in the process of doing that this morning. I got a little bit behind. I started it. So let me show you this video clip, and if you would like, hey, if you would like, guys, um, for those of you who have your cameras on, you may turn your cameras off. Just note that on Monday morning, everybody will comply. So on Monday morning, I want y'all up and ready. All right. So let me show y'all this video. Let me know if you can't hear it or can't see it. Somebody would have to unmute.
Hello everyone. I'm going to be showing you how to create a budget sheet in Microsoft Excel. There are better programs to use, but Microsoft Excel is a program that most everybody has and is simple to use, so this is what we will be using. What you see on your screen now is the completed budget form that we will be creating. It may look overwhelming to those who do not have much experience with Microsoft Excel, but don't worry, it's actually very simple, and I'm going to show you step by step how to do it. A lot of the formatting or the coloring, if you see the greens and the lavenders and the gradients and whatever, those will come later. Those aren't important to the function of the budget. They just make things easier to understand for the user, and you can do that later, but I will show you how to do it. First thing you're going to want to do when you start with a budget sheet is obviously start with a blank sheet, a blank project. Highlight, we're just going to create the width of the project. Highlight all the columns or all the boxes in that row and merge them together. Then what you're going to do is you're just going to you're going to format the cell first, right click, format cells, text, and then you're going to enter February 2013, the current month that we are in. This creates a heading for your page. Now we want to create a way to keep track of all of your money. A budget is more than just knowing how much money you have and what you're spending, but it's where that money is going so that you can temper it and save yourself money in the future. So this hypothetical family is a 2-parent, 3-child home, and I'm going to set up a list of their normal expenses across this row. When you set up your own budget, you'll want to create your own list of expenses, your own list of regular monthly expenses that you can count on to happen every month. And this is where you want to be able to keep track of where your money is going. Okay, so what I've done is I've entered in the list of monthly expenses for this family as they would expect them to be. They have a mortgage, they have a car payment, they have student loans, then they've got their groceries, their utilities, their gas money for their vehicles, a monthly date night, following the Old Testament, they pay tithing to the local church, they have 3 children who are in school, the father is a teacher, and then their other miscellaneous expenses. I am huge on formatting, and I like my pages to look nice. You do not have to follow the formatting steps, and I'm going to try to push through them quickly, not to slow down the video. I will do a later video on formatting. Now, in keeping track of your money, you want to be able to show how much money you spent last month, how much money you're spending this month, and how much you're hoping to spend in the following months. You need to have appropriate rows, and I'm going to set those up. Now, if at any point in time you add in text and it does not fit like this, just double click on the line between the two columns that are not fitting, and it'll adjust automatically for you. Now everything in this box is going to be monetary value. It's all going to be numbers. So I highlight the box and just click the money, turns it into accounting. Now anything I enter in here are going to be monetary values. So this family, because their budget is just starting, they don't have records of what they spent in the previous month. So I'm going to enter 0 in all of those rows, and I'll show you how to use last month figures when we get to the next sheet. Now I'm just going to change these things down here really quick. I double click and put February, double click and put March, double click and put April. We're going to have one sheet for every month. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in the numbers here of what the family expects to spend. Now this is something where the father and the mother need to sit down and actually plan out and talk about what they're going to spend this month. This is where a budget becomes difficult, because most people, this is where the discipline comes in. Most people aren't willing to sit down and figure out where they're going to put their money. Most people just spend shooting from the hip, and that's where they lose it. So if you're going to actually do this budget, you need to commit to yourself right now that you and your spouse or your significant or whomever, or if it's just you, that you are going to sit down once a month and figure out what you're going to spend and why. So I'm going to enter in what this family, we're going to call them the Johnsons, what the Johnsons are planning on spending. And these figures that you're about to see represent probably an hour, maybe 2 hours, maybe 15 minutes of conversation where they focused on this issue. These numbers, these three numbers are their debt numbers. They're trying to pay off a mortgage, they're trying to pay off a car, and they're trying to pay off student loans. In order for any budget to truly be effective, the user needs to accept that debt is binding and it's hard to calculate the interest rates. And so this family is now realized this, and they're going to get out of debt. And we're going to be creating an entirely separate sheet for debt management. But I'm going to do that later. These three, they may not have that much control over how much they spend, but the rest of this, they may. It's Valentine's month. They're going to have a little bit more of an expensive Valentine's. They've got 2 vehicles, utilities, groceries for a family of 5. They've got kids in school, the father's a teacher, etc. Now in this row, this is how much they're going to be spending throughout the month. I'm just going to enter zeros in there so we can see that it's a part of the game. And in this row, balance left, this is going to be the sum total, or rather the balance of what they've spent throughout the month. Okay, now this down here at the bottom is what we're going to create right here. I'm putting it down here so you can see what the end product is, and then what you're going to see, and then how to create it. We want to keep track of the total income of the family. We also want to compare it to the previous month's income. Now you have to worry about, now we're going to have an allotment. This figure that will be right here is going to be the sum total of that. You've got the money, how much you've spent, and the figure that will be right here will be a soft total of how much you've spent throughout the month, because you're going to be updating your budget throughout the month here on this program. And then we're going to have a balance being the difference between this number and this number. What we spent last month, because that's such a long one, I'm going to take those two, merge them together. And then what we're going to do is we're going to show the values of what they have in their checking account and in their savings account at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month. And then the balance between the two. These figures will be monetary, as will all of these. Now again, this is all, now what I'm about to do is a bunch of formatting. You can see what it looks like here. Okay, now that you have this set up, I'm going to show you a bit of formula, how to use formulas to your advantage. Allotment. Like I said, this total equals the sum of this. There's a really easy way to do this instead of getting out a calculator and punching those numbers in and then punching that number in there. Just highlight this box, come up here and click on Auto Sum. And that says right here, this box equals the sum of C3 through C9. Now that's not what we want. So you're just going to highlight, and just drag all the way across. Now that box equals the sum of B4 to L4, and you press enter, and it auto sums for you. Now one of the best things about that is, like I said, we were going to calculate this number later. Let's say after we calculate it, they decide the total is about 600. Watch this number when I press enter. Well, watch this number when I press enter. It automatically changes. The formula is still there, and anything we change in here will affect it. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. So now that stays there, and you don't want to use, you have no reason to adjust that anymore. Now this box right here is going to equal the sum total of that. Okay, so if I enter 2, that didn't do anything. So you have to actually use the auto sum. Highlight the box, press auto sum, highlight the row, bingo. Now it shows 0 because we have all zeros in this column. If you enter 300, it adds 300. If you enter in 10,000, puts 10,000. You can leave that there. Now balance, because again, allotment is what you're planning on spending, spent is what you've actually spent. So balance is going to equal, you press equal, this, you just click on it, minus that. Enter. So the balance shows 3,851 because obviously 3,851 minus 0 equals that. However, if you were to spend $1,000 on your mortgage as you were planning, automatically enters it there, automatically subtracts it there. Then you spend your $285 there, you spend your student payment of $356 there. You'll notice these numbers change automatically for you. Once you set up the formula in these boxes, you have no reason to enter numbers in there manually. This is your zone of alteration. You can even change this color. You can even change the color of these boxes as a reminder to yourself that you don't want to actually edit anything in them. However, whatever color you want to do, let's just do that. That's a reminder to you that you don't want to actually enter numbers into those boxes. Again, this number we don't know because they just started doing this month. Same thing with last month's income. Total income, we'll get to that in a minute. Now, let's say at the beginning of February, this family has $8,012 in their checking and $2,001 $3 or whatever into their savings account. And what's going to happen is at the end of the month or at the beginning of March, either one, they're basically the same thing. The Johnsons are going to sit down and they're going to look at their checking and savings account again, and they're going to enter in whatever the total is. Now you do this manually. There's no formula for that on here. So let's say at the end of the month, obviously at this point in the beginning of the month, the Johnsons would not be entering these numbers in, but I'm going to show you how to set up the formula. Because right now the current values are 0. Well, let's just leave it like that. Now this box is going to be the same idea as this. These numbers minus these numbers to equal this. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Simple math. Equals, come up here to type the formula. You want, you're going to put them in parentheses just like you would in math class. This plus this, close the parentheses, minus this plus this, close parentheses. I forgot to put in the first one. That's okay. Go back up there, add it in. So now what it's doing, what this box is going to do is going to add the two numbers from these two figures and add the two numbers from these two boxes and then subtract the second from the first. I press enter. We show 10,013, which is the sum of that. Now if at the end of the month our total is 7,954 and 2,001 and 03, then we've actually lost money. It shows that we've actually made money, but we haven't. Okay, So we need to change the formula because it's not right. So what we're actually do is we're going to take that, you can just control X and move it to the front. Control paste, minus, oops, and enter. Now what it shows is we actually lost $58, which is accurate because this total is less than this total. This is the end of part 1 of the video. We've just begun. Please hit the link for part 2 to learn more.
Okay, so I know this one was a little bit more in depth as well. I am still doing some research, but what I want you to do is come up with your categories, and the categories that I would suggest would be you would find out what your income is for the total month. So we're gonna do a monthly, a 1 month budget. So I need for you to you can probably just estimate on what your if you have a job, what you make a week or what you make every 2 weeks. Um, so you'll come up with the income. Then you'll want to come up with say if you have a car payment, for the car payment, car insurance, clothing, eating. So we'll come up with some categories and we'll get everything rolling. Hopefully we can begin it on Monday or Tuesday. This is a project, and what with you, since y'all are doing you guys are going to do a monthly budget. We'll make this roll out. We can make this roll out probably to we're going to speed it up a little bit. We may roll it out to the end of the month or the 1st of March, just to give us about 2 or 3 weeks so y'all can see kind of what you spend. So we will go over that more, but I kind of wanted you to see what a budget would look like in Excel. Still looking for one a little bit more simpler because I don't want to overload your brains too much, but I do want you to start paying attention to what you spend, how much money you're making, and then how much you're spending out. So I will post that video so you can go back and look at that video and chunk it up. Just chunk up the video. Make sure that you do the attendance quiz for the day. Also, make sure you do the attendance quiz for tomorrow. And I will post, hopefully this evening or today, my remediation hours on Friday. So Fridays, I'll start having remediation time because a lot of you need to make up some days. I will be contacting you in regards to your days and your work. Some of you still have not completed your work. Check Power School because I'm only going to give you a couple of more days. If you have not completed that work, you're not going to have a chance to go back. So go back. If you have not done that meet and greet presentation, the vocabulary, get it done because some of you need to go back and complete that work. All right. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns for me today? If not, you guys have a great remainder of the week, and I will talk to you guys on Monday. That's okay, Anika. All right, I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Remember the attendance quiz tomorrow. Bye-bye.